Hello, my name is Uri, and I'm recording this Theatre That Reconnects short overview of the map, the vision, and the journey. Um, as I said, my name is Uri. I live in a small village near Pisa in Italy. I was born in the Galilee in Israel, Palestine. I've been a facilitator and trainer of theater, social theater, and social presencing theater, CRU approaches, as well as work that reconnects. And I've been taking some of those techniques and methods and creating my own approach, which is also based on my learning and my experimentation, both as a student and practitioner, with master practitioners as Hector Aristisabal, as Arawana Hayashi, um, as John Croft, and many others that have inspired me to look at ways that we could bring together the personal, the social, the political, and ecological selves. I'm going to share my screen and do a little overview of Theatre That Reconnects and the vision, the map, and where I see it potentially making a difference. So hopefully you're seeing the screen. And Theatre That Reconnects is an interactive space for remembering our place in the living web of life. And there's many ways to look at it. Is it a method or approach or way? But I kind of like to look at it as a space. So it moves, it adapts to who is in the room and what is in the room. Uh, where there are humans or more than humans, and I sort of like the AI vision that was created when I asked to create a theater that reconnects vision as a kind of this theater stage in nature, um, which is half real, half fiction, half possible, and half an utopia. But I would like to move from the utopia to the protopia, what is possible, and kind of landing more about theater that reconnects as a map, as a framework, and as emerging social arts form created with the horizon of reconnection with self, others, and nature. It is deeply inspired by the work that reconnects, a practice born from the teaching and experiential method developed by Joanna Macy and many collaborators. Joanna has left us this year, and to quote her about it work that reconnects builds motivation, creativity, courage, and solidarity for the transition to a sustainable human culture. It offers a framework for creative action. So this is going back to Theatre That Reconnects is a creative action research framework that grows as an aesthetic expression of the work that reconnects to be shared more widely with the world. And along with this concepting and systemizing of these different ways of knowing, a map has emerged. And some part of this map I've co-created with my partner Ilaria Olimpico. And it's also deeply inspired from the teaching of my teaching from Hector Aristizabal and the work that reconnects Spiral, Dragon Dreaming, Wheel, as well as Theory U, and a few other um, maps that inspired me. So you can see here there are four stages. It is a circle or a cycle or a spiral. If you think in three-dimensional, I usually start with talking from the gift to the wound to the medicine to the dream, from earth to water to fire to air. But you can actually start anywhere in this cycle. Um, so I want to kind of move through this map and start also with telling my own story, and how and why I'm called to bring this work into being. So this is a photo, or actually an illustration of a photo of me climbing a tree out back of my house in the Galilee. And this was my happy place. So there is still my happy place, my happy memories as a child climbing into the top of the um, Esdareje tree, the tree of Paradiso in Spanish. And just going there from above, I could see everything. I could feel both the connection with the sky and the earth. And this is my happy place and my place of from which I wish to bring Theatre That Reconnects into being. And in Theatre That Reconnects, it's about creating participatory performance and practices, aiming with building relationship with ourselves, each other, and nature. So that's the scope and the vision. And in practice, if we look at the map, and I started again from the gift and the earth, there is a premise that I received from my teachers, from Hector, that he received from his teacher, from Michael Mead, and also that is apparent in many indigenous or First Nations, and that inspired this work as well. So this idea that we all possess a gift, a talent, a skill, and we're born into it, and that by seeing, recognizing the gift and the gift of life, we can create a community of respect and care, and that's part of creating a thriving world. So in the part of the gift, as we begin our journeys, we create a space to recognize the gift with a gratitude to what we were given as humans, individually, collectively, by the earth, and also each one of us, their capacity, their potential to be a light, to be a changer, to be good, this basic goodness, this richness, the rich soil of possibility is the place I would like to start with. And starting from that space of possibility where we are all part of a greater whole, there is also the second step, which is the wound. And the wound is parallel to the what in the work that reconnect is defined as honoring the pain for the world. And the wound that I've again taken from reading and being in touch with Hector's work and his autobiography called The Blessing Next to the Wound. The wound is a belief that we all carry the wounds of multi-generation separation from nature, from each other and ourselves. And in this journey, we recognize these wounds as sources of our own sense of self. And as we collectively witness them, we enable new energy to emerge, grieving the old story of the world. And so we are carrying the wounds of separation. They are alive in us. And that's why we often get triggered by what we see in the world, the injustice, and also um, each other, and as well as we can um, carry this wound for a very long time. And the in the theater that reconnects, we lean into the wound as a place of where we can find a blessing, where we can find a medicine in the wound, um, and reconnect with our gift and transform through that process. We connect with the medicine. And the medicine is that we feel that next to our wounds, we carry a blessing, a medicine. When it is shared, it becomes a source of healing and strength, not just for ourselves, but for the world. And we are becoming part of a collective effort to heal the world and build a regenerative, thriving future for all, and for all being a very important part. This idea of non-separation connects what with theater of the oppressed we call oppressor and oppressed. But I feel in Theater That Reconnects, we want to reach out to that place that we are going beyond that separation, and in that separation, we are thinking and we're visualizing and we are manifesting a healing of the separation. And that we each carry a part of this puzzle, a medicine, which is connected with our gifts, in a way filtered through the wound. And we have been initiated into that. For me, my wound had to do with growing up in a militarized society, joining the army, joining the Israeli army, having experienced mechanization on myself and being part of a machine of destruction, and then coming out with a lot of questions and doubts, and through my medicine, or the medicine that I received from that, which became theater, which became connecting with that, my capacity to imagine and to be on adventure as I was a child through play, through being in nature. Then I connected with that medicine and I was able to give it to others, to create spaces where people imagine worlds, possibilities, where they enact not just their um, fears, but also their dreams, their possibility, their hope for the future. They become that. So that's my medicine, and I feel we each carry a medicine, and the theater that reconnects as a map, as a vision, as a journey is about finding my medicine and giving my medicine, because only by giving my medicine to others, to the world, I can heal myself. And we arrive to the fourth step, the dream. And the dream is this sense that we have that dreams are the foundations of our collective being. So, not necessarily talking only about dreams that we dream in the night, but also the dreams that we dream in the day, which are actually um, our way of manifesting possibilities. So we believe that by sharing dreams and forming collaborative dream teams, we can collectively work towards the future we all long for. And I've worked with many people from different places. And what I found is that we start these collective dreams, as we share in also in Dragon Dreaming, there is a dream of a world that we share, of a possibility. And we seems to all know this future that we wish for, that our heart longs for. We know it, we know the road into it. Um, so dreaming is our sacred duty to care for ourselves, others, and the earth. And the dreams that we carry are not our dreams, they are the dreams of the earth that we carry and bring into fruition. And the dream is also the way that we can scale our medicine. So for me, Theatre That Reconnects is a dream that my own journey of moving through separation and finding healing for myself can become a collective journey. That Theatre That Reconnects become a way for people to realize themselves, to realize reconnection in many ways, in ways beyond my comprehension or understanding. And something that it will become collective. Um, so the dream is to scale the medicine, to bring it to more people and to build the world that we long for. So um, another way, or let's say a fundamental part of Theatre That Reconnects for me is to co-create with life's intelligences. And it's a weaving of three methodologies that I am a practitioner of. The work that reconnects that I mentioned, which is also a framework for personal and social transformation that uses explorational practices to deepen ecological awareness and activate collective hope, active hope and action. The work that reconnects rituals like the Truth Mandala and the Council of All Being are being often used in Theatre That Reconnects as a workshop or as a performance and becoming a performance of reconnection. The spiral and the expanded spiral are on the foundation at the basis of the work. Second, I would say social presence in theater is an embodied method that enables group to sense, visualize, and transform social and systemic dynamics through movement and improvisation. So I've been a practitioner of social presence in theater since 2015, and also I encountered it through learning about Theory U, which is also an inspiration for this work. What I've learned or what I'm learning from social presence theater is the immense wisdom and capacity of the body to know just not just on the individual personal level, but on the collective level. Um, and the practices that from social presence theater that I often bring to the Theatre That Reconnects start with connecting with the earth body, 20-minute dance, and connecting with our own stuck places, as well as to connecting with the um, collective stuck, with the 4D mapping practices of looking at systems, and looking at our body as a carrier of knowledge, of possibility. Last or not least, or actually first, because actually chronologically for me, of the oppressed was the start, which is a participatory theater approach empowering participants to explore, reflect, and challenge social inequality through interactive performance. Comes from the work of Augusto Boal, a Brazilian, that I unfortunately did not get to meet, but has definitely changed my life. And meeting his work, his writing, when I was studying theater in Jerusalem, Hebrew University, was life changing. It was life changing because I, at the time, had a lot of questions. I still have a lot of questions. And it felt that Theatre of the Oppressed did not provide the answers, but it provided the right questions to inquire into my questions. And how do we, some of those questions are how do we sort of co-create social reality as a performance in a way, and how can we kind of break through the status quo that keeps us disconnected on from one another on a social level, on a personal level, on a collective level. In Theatre That Reconnects, we often create scenes, use image theater, make games, and also sometimes create a forum type of theater where we inquire into social issues and try to find solutions. Part of Theatre of the Oppressed is legislative theater, which is a vision of how can we use theater for creating policies, for creating a more democratic democracy. And that's I greatly share that vision and would like to see Theatre That Reconnects being used as part of also including the more than human world and more types of intelligences, life's intelligence into our way of managing and coordinating ourselves collectively. So I think I'm almost done here, but I want to share a little bit about the course that is starting tomorrow. And this is a first of its kind course for facilitators. I've been teaching Theatre That Reconnects in a German university called in Würzburg, the Technical Applied Science University of Würzburg-Schweinfurt, for social work students since 2023. 24. I've done a course for students, and I've also been developing an introduction, a 5-week introduction that I have delivered 3 times already in 2025. And this is for the first time I am created a 4 days course, which is not just 4 days, actually, it's actually a journey for facilitators wanting to open it up. So I'll share the tentative agenda, and also whether you are joining it or think to join it now in October, or still need more time, or look for other opportunities. Maybe you get a sense of what this course is about. So on day one, we're starting with seeing our gifts, and we recognize each other's gifts and our own gift. We practice stillness. We practice 20-minute dance and the gift circle, creating the container and creating a collective intention through a group collage. And we create a dialogue about how does each of our gifts contribute to collective liberation, and introduction to the map that we just looked at. We create a reflection in pairs and carrying that forward. The gift, this is a quote, you carry for others is not an attempt to save the world, but to fully belong to it, from Bill Plotkin. So we start from this place of belonging to the world, and then we move to blessing our wounds, where we look at also our stuck places, our stories of on woundedness and how they connect with our possibility to grow. And we move into each of us as facilitators, I believe, are connected with a specific story, with a specific journey, and our wounds can help us to see that. A quote here from Rumi: "The wound is the place where the light enters you." And yeah, there is a crack in everything. That's from Leonard Cohen. That's where the light gets in. Um, Moving into day 3, which is giving our medicines. And here we explore a practice that was really a combination of practices that have been put together from Theatre of the Oppressed and social pressing theater and work that reconnects, the rainbow of all being. And we look at that as a way to really um, uh, spotlight or emerge or illuminate our medicine and see how and what is keeping us from bringing our medicine. And we start to dream what the next steps. So we start with a dream circle and looking at ways to keep going, also following the uh, the course. Finally, on day 4, dreaming our world, we look at the dream, the collective dream that we have as a group, but also on the larger dream that we are part of, and we time travel into the future to meet future generations. And we go into embodying these dreams. And we also do a practical work on designing our next steps going out from the course and how do we support one another in that. We are the ancestors of the future. What do you want your legacy to be? This is from John Amacy. Beyond this, there is an ongoing journey. As I said, the 4 days are actually an invitation, and there's a practice space that will start 2 weeks, about 2 weeks after we begin, and then monthly drop-ins to share, to practice, to mentor one another, and to be a learning community. That's it. That's the overview of the course agenda. I hope this is useful. I'm going to stop sharing and just you can see me. This was a short kind of introduction, and maybe as a practice for you, I'm going to invite you to take a moment after you heard all of that. And I'm sorry if at some point I spoke a bit quick, and you can also take it in and we can kind of slow down. I can slow down. If there is something that was shared that touched you, something that calls you in it, listen to it, listen to the heart. It could be the gift that you feel is not being seen and wants to be seen. It could be the wound that wants to be blessed, yourself or someone close to you. It could be the medicine that you want to give or would like to find. It could be the dream that is calling you, that's shouting from the earth, you, holding you. And it could be the vision, the journey of reconnection. Whatever it is that calls you right now, I invite you to listen to it. See it as a being. Maybe you can imagine it if this thing that is calling you was an animal or a plant, nature element, what it would be. And allow it to enter your mind, escape, give you a message. Give it a voice, that message. If it helps you, you can also write it down. Before it slips. And I invite you, if you feel like it, to share what you wrote with someone else, even one person, and share what the message. And I will share my message, and then I will close and hope to see you at some point soon in this journey. So my poem, my reflection, my message is from the wind. And I once said to a friend, from a place of frustration, that I feel like I'm the wind in the boat, in the sails of boats that I will never be able to go on. And that was a bit of a frustration. But what I received now as I closed my eyes was that there was the wind. And the wind said, I am the wind. Be courageous. Get the boats to shore. And I thank the wind for reminding me my mission. And I thank you for watching.